Programming on 90.7 WKGC and the Commodore Sports Network is sponsored by Sweet Bay. Sweet Bay is a bayfront village in Panama City that features parks, walking trails to the water, a future town center, and more. A community connected at the water's edge, Sweet Bay. More information about Sweet Bay online at sweetbayfl.com or 844-35-SWEET.
Welcome, Commodore fans, to Coach's Corner, a production of Gulf Coast State College's digital media program here, and want to thank the folks at Sweet Bay for underwriting Coach's Corner. Today, Coach Phillip Gaffney and I will talk about post-conference play. The last time we had Coach's Corner, Coach, we talked about that was it, but some unusual things happened, and we'll talk about those in just a little bit. Commodores 8-11 overall, receiving votes in the state coaches poll, and the number 8 seed in the Region 8 tournament. So, Coach, you know, at the last Coach's Corner, we thought Commodores were done. Y'all were off recruiting, but some things happened the very last game between Tallahassee and Pensacola that actually put the Commodores back into post-play.
Yeah, we're not really privy to what happened. We're not really sure. We just know from the news reports that after the game, Tallahassee and Pensacola, two fine teams, unfortunately, out in the parking lot, had some type of disagreement, and police were called and security was called, and who knows what happened or who started what. I mean, nobody really knows or how involved it was. We just know that Pensacola immediately took themselves out of running for the tournament, and then the NJCA ruled last Thursday against Tallahassee going. So we were the next team in line, so we are going. We got the automatic. We didn't even have to, you know, if we had been the third team, then they could have decided whether we went or not, the seeding and selection committee for the region tournament. Instead, we moved up to 2, so we're in, we're ready to go. It's a surprise for us because we really thought, you know, most likely we were done. You know, seeding and selection committee can do whatever they want, but we thought we were out. And now we're in, and so we're super excited. We realize we're playing with house money, so I think we might be a little looser playing and a little more, have a little bit of an edge to us. I think we played so well coming down the stretch, our last 4 games, playing our best basketball of the year, and that's even without 2 starters, Marzette and Pierre-Louis were both out for our last game when we finally beat Pensacola this year. So we feel like, hey, we're playing pretty good. We actually gave them a 4-day rest because we thought we were done. And so they got the rest. We got our injuries rested up. Now we're coming back practicing. And we're just hoping we can make a nice little run and see what happens. We're the defending state champs. Now we've gone to state 2 years in a row. That's an accomplishment. And until somebody beats us, until next Saturday when somebody else hoists up the trophy, we're the state champions, and we're going to really defend it just like we defend anything else.
And so, and you talk about playing last year, first time in years, qualified for the national tournament, did not get to go, which was tough. But it seems kind of like some kind of justice when it came back around. When you were out, you're going to get to go. So maybe that's a little payback from last year.
Sometimes God giveth, sometimes God taketh away. Last year, for the first time, as you said, in some years, 48 years, 1972 was the last time we qualified, and we won the state tournament, and we were dominant, beating number 1, number 9, number 18, and we had just played great down the stretch. We were a very, very good basketball team. We would have been a really tough out in the tournament. I don't know if to beat us last year, you would at the end of the year, you would have had to be really, really, really good. We were going to make a serious run. And then, of course, COVID hit, and nobody got to go. No March Madness anywhere. So this year, it's April Madness. And so now, you know, maybe they'll say, well, they're getting in by the back door, but it doesn't matter. Whatever, you know, this is a results-oriented business. All people are going to look at, no one's going to remember 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. They're just going to say, this Saturday, who is going to hoist that trophy? And everybody knows last year we hoisted it, and then this year, you know, we'll see what happens. But I really like our chances. I think Chipola is super coach team, maybe the best coach team in the state. Donnie Tyndall does a great job with his players. They buy into his system. They do exactly what he wants. But, that court over there, we're 9-0 in my time here. And so we got 5 sophomores that are 9-0 on that court. And they feel pretty confident playing over there. So really doesn't matter. I think if we were playing the Lakers, they would still say, Coach, we're 9-0. We got to do our thing, and let's get over there and see what we can do. So we've been blessed to get a second opportunity. We realize how good Chipola is. They're the number 1 seed. We're the number 8 seed. We realize that. But I don't think our guys, as coaches, I realize that. But I think as players, they're just like, hey, let's go. We got to win 3 games to defend and go to Hutch at the National. So let's see what we can do.
So in that case, and we talked about Chipola in that seeding in the brackets. They were seeded number 1 after the things with Tallahassee happened, and we played those Chipola Indians, 18-4 overall, co-Panhandle Conference champs, number 1 in the state coaches poll, ranked 9th in the NJCAA national poll, and as you talked about, the number 1 seed in the tournament. So they always say if you're going to get the best team in the tournament, you really want to play them the first game.
Yeah, it's the old swallow the frog. I think Mark Twain said that. If you got something big to do in your day or whatever you're doing, do it first. Get it out of the way. Hardest thing. So it'll be very hard. There's a reason they're number 1 team in the state, and obviously one of the top 5 teams in the country. They are loaded. They have good size, good athleticism, and they're so coached. Their defense is scoring on them is no easy task. It's extremely difficult. They have a great zone and a great press, and they don't turn the ball over, so you don't get many opportunities in transition against them. So we definitely have our work cut out for us, but we're so excited, James, just to be getting a chance to go, and we're going to make the best of it.
So in this case, if we look, we're 1-3 against them right now. We actually beat them on February 3rd, Panhandle Conference opener in the Billy Harrison Fieldhouse, 168-65. February 17th, lost to them at their place, 87-58. March 3rd, we lost at home, 84-63. And on March 17th at Chipola, lost 62-40. And like you said, scoring on them, you can see how hard it is to get points because they're just so big. They are tall and long and fast.
Exactly, and they play that zone. He does a great job in all their slides. They rebound out of the zone, so you're not getting second chances. They get back on D, and they don't turn over the ball, so you're not getting any transition points. So it's a one and done. You better hit the one shot you make, and then they're going to force you to shoot so far from the basket, and they still extend out on your shooters. They just do a tremendous job. You just got to give them credit. They have the old McLeod, 7'3" guy, Florida State, who sits in the middle of the paint, and man, you can't shoot over him. He's just too big. He's just too athletic, moves too well. So we're going to have to find ways and manufacture some ways to get some baskets. Otherwise, it's going to be a really short day for us, and we'll be a one-and-done team.
So, and if we look at rebounds on the board, we actually they rebound 34.5 times a game. We're at 32.3. Not a big difference on the boards.
No, we've actually rebounded the ball better. Everything we're doing is getting better and better and better. We're shooting a little better. We're rebounding a little better. We're defending way better. I really feel confident in how we're playing. It's just that you're playing the number 1 team in the state. And so it's going to take a great effort to beat them. It can't be just one guy. We're going to have 3 guys really shoot the ball well. And if those 3 guys shoot the ball well, then you have a chance. If you're just going to have one guy shoot it, it might as well not go. 3 guys are going to have to step up, play great on offense, and then everybody on your team is going to have to rebound and defend if you want to beat them.
And then if we look at some of their leading scores, let me slide down. See, the problem is you got Tomlin with 11 points, Lemus averaging 12, and then there's several of them at 8 and 9 points a game, but almost every player on that team has decent numbers.
They do. And Zachary, I think, is the key. The point guard, Zachary, is just a great offensive, defensive player. He only scores, I think, 10 or 11 a game.
11.2.
But, boy, he controls the offense. He controls the defense. He controls the pace of play. He's tremendous. And you're right. They have 3 or 4 guys right around 10 points a game. They share it. They're balanced. Well, that's why they're the number 1 team in the number 1 region. They deserve it. And Coach Tyndall to do it in his first year, I think that tells you just how good a coach he is. That they're number one his first year. He's done a great job.
Yeah, and if you look at size-wise, 6'2", 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 6'9", 6'5", 7'3", 6'4", 6'9", 6'10", 6'9", 6'3". Oh, he's got a 5'11" player, and 6'8". They're just.
It reminds me a lot of the Syracuse zone. Not that their slides are the same, but that they're so long and athletic that they can really cover a lot of ground and a lot of shooting radius. But the 7'3" is the one number you just read. When he's in the game, he is tough. He is just tough. And he gets back on D. He's not a big stiff. He hustles. He's mobile. He gets back on D. Super, super, super player. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to score it. And then when they press and you get a 2-on-1, he's standing in the back, and he's going to race your shot. So it makes it real difficult.
So in that case, we know they're going to run a lot of zones against us. So I assume we've worked on some different ways to break that down.
We certainly have. I'm not sure they're going to work because we played them four times, and I see how everybody else playing them, and there really hasn't been a lot of success. But we have beaten them. So we have beaten a top 5 team. We have beaten them, and so I think there's a confidence there of, you know what, they're great. They do a great job. But if we shoot the ball well, if we defend and rebound, maybe we got a chance to hang in. And at the end of the game, it's the 8 seed usually doesn't get real tight. It's that 1 seed. The expectations are all on them. There's no expectations on us. Now I have the expectations. We're the defending champ. We're going to win, okay? But I think when the game gets tight, sometimes it's that number 1 or the number 2 seed who they get a little tight at the end of the game, and maybe they don't make the play they're supposed to make. So in a beautiful world, James, in a perfect world, if we're going to play a beautiful game, we're going to keep this thing very close all the way to the end, and then that last minute of the game, let's see who executes.
Yep, and in this case, Coach, it's pretty easy. If your sophomores can score their average, we probably beat Chipola.
Yeah, but that's pretty hard to do against Chipola. That's probably not going to happen. So Chipola's just too good defensively.
So in that case, if you look now, Cook's played with some injuries. Healthy now?
He's healthier. He's healthier, and Pierre Louis, who didn't play last game, is much better. Marzette's done for the season. So unfortunately, there's almost a 50% three-point shooter, exactly the remedy you need for a zone, will not be there. So that's obviously a big blow to our team. But Cayla didn't play the last game, and the 3 games against Pensacola, Marzette and Pierre Louis played. We didn't win. Marzette and Pierre don't play, we win. And that is not anything about them because they're 2 of our top 3 scorers. It's about it's a function of our defense and our rebounding playing much better and taking care of the ball better.
And I think something for us to be successful, Trayshawn Wilson's got to have a big night.
Yeah, and he has just, again, 2 knee surgeries. He didn't play the whole season. We never would have normally played in a regular year, but because this year doesn't count against their eligibility, it's not a counter. He came in late, and he's been, he had double digits his first game, and he's been double digits ever since off the bench. And when you got a guy who can shoot, that's a 40% shooter from 3 and a double-digit score off the bench, it's going to really help your team out.
And shoots 88% from the free throw line.
You got to have some shooters against the Chipola team.
Now, if we look at the bracket right quick, Commodores will play the game 3 on Thursday, 6 p.m. against Chipola. The games will start at 1. Indian River and Florida State College at Jacksonville will play. And then at 3 o'clock, Florida Southwestern and State College of Florida. And then, as we mentioned, the Chipola Gulf Coast game is 6. And the nightcap game is Eastern Florida against St. Pete in that 8 o'clock game. So if Commodores advance, they will play Friday at 8 p.m. And then the championship would be 7:30 on Saturday.
Yep.
So that's how the bracket lays out. That's Coach Phil Gaffney. Commodore fans, I'll be back in just a second to talk with Cayla Petree and about the Lady Doors in this same tournament on the Commodore Sports Network.
Programming on 90.7 WKGC and the Commodore Sports Network is sponsored by Sweet Bay. Sweet Bay is a bayfront village in Panama City that features parks, walking trails to the water, a future town center, and more. A community connected at the water's edge, Sweet Bay. More information about Sweet Bay online at sweetbayfl.com or 844-35-SWEET.
Welcome back, Commodore fans. Coach Cayla Petree and I will talk about the Lady Commodores and postseason play coming up. Lady Commodores 10-8 overall, ranked 5th in the state coaches poll, ranked 16th in the NJCA national poll, and the number 5 seed in the Region 8 state tournament. So as we talked about last week, we now know where we're at and who we're going to play and how we advance. And so let's jump right in, Coach. We drew the number 5 seed, and before we talk about that, personally, I wish we'd have drew the number 6 seed.
Yeah, that would have probably worked out a little bit better for us. Not because of the strength of the opponent or anything like that. I just think if we would have had a chance to play head-to-head, the team that would most likely get the at-large bid if we didn't to the Nationals, I think that would be a good opportunity to play them. And then I do think we match up maybe a little bit better with Chipola than we do Northwest Florida. So being on that side of the bracket, if we continued to win, might have worked out. But we're just happy to be in. We're happy to still be playing.
And in this case, we drew Florida Southwestern, the number 4 seed, ranked 6th in the state coaches poll, not nationally ranked. Now, I went out and looked at their team this morning as I was doing some show prep. 6'1", 6 foot, 6'1", 6'1", 6'2", 6 foot, 6'3", 6'4", 6'3". They're big.
They're very big, very long, very athletic. I think a lot of their players kind of have the build of Lebu, Fatou Sis, number 45 on our team. Probably not quite as bouncy as her, all of them, but just that same length and that same build.
And so, now, and what was also interesting, had COVID not happened, Lady Commodores, the Lady Indians, and the Lady Raiders would have played them, but all those games were canceled pre-conference. So that would have been interesting to see and got a chance to play against them before you play them in postseason and how they would have played almost one round through the Panhandle Conference.
Absolutely. They're a very good team. They had some issues with COVID early where they missed not just our 3 games but several others, and so I think it took them a little bit a time to get back into the swing of things. I believe they dropped some games early that maybe they would not have had they not had the COVID restrictions.
So in this case, they're 13-5 overall. They're the Southern Conference champs, ranked 6th in the state coaches poll, and the number 4 seed in the tournament. So that's kind of how they play out. So what do you expect, Coach?
They, like you said, they're very big, very long. I believe they have a plus 18 rebounding margin on their opponents. They're about 49 or 50 rebounds a game. And so everybody rebounds, everybody crashes, so that'll be an issue that we have to, really, really be concerned with. And then also just mismatches. Everybody on their team can go post up. They're big, but it almost seems like they're interchangeable. I think Ava and Lebu would be okay if they put their bigs out on the perimeter and we had to guard. But I think where we'll run into a little bit of a challenge is if some of those big guards go post up our smaller guards, and that'll force us to either, bring some help over, which will open up other people or get us in foul trouble. So we'll definitely have to be aware of that. But they're good. They're a good basketball team, well coached, play hard. So
if we look at the only 2 categories that they beat the Lady Doors in, and you talked about one already, rebounds, 47.9 rebounds a game compared to 36.1. So they're dominant on the boards, but they also move the ball around well. Their assists per game is 15.9 compared to our 12.4. So they distribute the ball pretty good also. A lot of balanced scoring,
I think they've got, I know they have 2 that are pretty well up there, maybe 3. But everybody scores, and when you look at it, they've had a high point, a different person, a lot.
And so if we look at that right quick, they have 2 players. 0 for them is 15 points a game, and then Williams, a freshman, 13.2, and then lots of single-digit scoring from there. Looks like they turned the ball over 18.7 times, and their opponent's only 14.9. So they're not that strong on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, I don't know if it's that they're not strong. It just seems that they try to control. They want a slower paced game, and so that keeps their turnovers down and their opponents' turnovers down. So we'll see. I mean, they won that league. They're nationally dominant every year. So I'm excited that we get a chance to play them.
And so, and in that case, do you think their bigs can run with the Lady Commodores?
Initially, no. But our problem that we faced all year has been the fatigue and our depth, and so we'll have to keep LeBou and Ava out of foul trouble, and then keep the conditioning up. And I'm not sure how well our conditioning is right now. This time of year, we've been off 13 days, and we don't have enough players to play 5-on-5. So we've been doing treadmill and wind sprints and things like that to try to keep our game conditioning up.
And that will come into play as a short bench, because they have a whole roster, and we're down to 8. And foul situation, having to match up against the bigs, playing in the post, there's a tendency to pick up some fouls, especially our bigs. They're going to pick up some, and then when we go small, that's going to be tough. And then just simply not being able to play at the pace we'd like to play at because we only have 8 players.
The good thing about us is those 8, I think, are very good. We had 4 on the all-conference team. I believe all 8 of those players have started a game. Maybe all 8 of those players have been a high point for us. So, Ava probably never has. She's not really a scorer, but everybody else seems to have really produced for us at one point or the other. But all have played significant minutes.
So they're game tested. Plus, the other thing we have to keep this in our favor is we played all our games in the Panhandle Conference.
Yes, sir.
So in other words, it would be interesting to see, like we talked about earlier, had they just played 3 of the 4 here, to see how they would have played out against that. You're right. They're always at the state tournament. They're always a force to deal with. We also have a player that played for them last year.
Cabria Lewis, yes, sir.
So does that bring any advantage?
We haven't really talked about it much. I know that she's got a lot of friends over there still, and she loved her time at Florida Southwestern. So I'm sure, though, just any competitor would want to beat their old school. I know that's how I would be.
So, well, she also, I would say she'd be very familiar with everything they run, but they had a new head coaching change also. So, which may or may not be the same thing they ran last year.
Right, and then the fall was just so crazy.
And so now, if we come down and look at Lady Commodores, Daniel averaging 23.4 points a game.
She just picked up the Conference Player of the Year, big award for her, first team all-conference.
And in this conference, that is saying something.
Yes, sir. I was very proud of her. We've said all year that she's one of the best players in the country, so hopefully that'll carry over and she'll maybe get All-American. But Liz Gibbs was first team all-conference, and then Cabria Lewis and Sarah Matthews were second team all-conference.
So they all made it. And Matthews averaging 10.8 points a game. So those two are going to need to score their averages.
Yes, sir.
And we say Daniel with 23, she's had 40-plus games this year. So it would be nice for her to have a 40-plus.
That'd be great.
So that would help there. And then, we also got to have some help. Like you said, Gibbs is getting better and better and better every game. So I think she's improving.
Her deal is she just has to have her mind right. Sometimes I think it's never a question of effort. I just think sometimes she plays so hard. She's got to learn how to harness all that energy where she doesn't have some, poor shot selection or turnovers that we might not need at the time.
And this would be a big game for Miller to establish her presence in the post and try to take down some of those rebounds that the other team.
Be great, yes, sir.
So that would be a good stop for her. I saw a little bit in a couple games where she actually bowed up in that post and chinned the ball, did a nice job of defending, got it out. Sis, it's just come out of every game is playing well for the Lady Doors also.
Yeah, I think what people don't realize, and we say it over and over, but the people that we're playing against in the Panhandle are going to high major college basketball programs that they'll be playing on TV next year. And so for those two to do for all of them to do what they've done against great competition shows how good they really are. And so we're just happy to go play against somebody else.
So in this case, Ann Crockwell, the sleeper in the bunch, if she comes and plays a game like she's played before, then Lady Commodores will do well in that opening game.
Absolutely, she can really shoot it.
And so, so we're going to need her to help us there. If we look at the tournament setup, Lady Commodores. And that's the reason we talked a little bit about rather than 6th and 5th. Lady Commodores will play Wednesday at 8 p.m. So we're the nightcap game. And we was also hoping we'd play earlier too. So, and then we'll play Florida Southwestern. The top part of our bracket's Northwest Florida and Eastern Florida.
That's not an easy 1-8 game, you know. I think that's tough. I mean, Eastern Florida played Chipola early. I mean, Northwest Florida obviously is really, really good, but for a typical 1-8 matchup, that's a challenge, I think.
Yeah, so same kind of like on the men's side. Chipola drew Gulf Coast. You
Yeah,
know, that's a 1-8 matchup. Two panel conference teams. Northwest, number 1 in the state coaches poll, ranked number 2 in the NJCA national poll. The difference between them and Chipola is players 6 through 10 doesn't fall off.
The depth, yes, sir.
And that's the big key there. If we slide up to the 3 p.m. game, it's between St. Pete and Indian River. St. Pete ranked 3rd in the state coaches poll, ranked 18th in the NJCA national poll. Indian River ranked 4th in the state coaches poll, 21st in the NJCA poll. And then if we slide up to the 1 o'clock game, Chipola ranked 2 in the state coaches poll, ranked 7th in the NJCA national poll, plays Hillsburg ranked 8th in the state coaches poll at the 1 p.m. game. So that's kind of how the tournament lays out.
A lot of fun basketball games.
So how does the Lady Doors like playing in the arena at Northwest?
Well, let's be honest with ourselves. It hadn't been that fun. But we're happy to play. You know, it's different, a different setup. You know, people don't understand like the depth perception and things like that. That affects shooters. But everybody's playing in it, and it's a beautiful facility. It feels like big time college basketball. So I like it. I like playing anytime, anywhere.
Anywhere. Well, in this case, it's a great environment. Much better than at Central Florida. And the folks at Central Florida did a great job hosting it. But it was basically a high school gym. It was small and didn't do it. Now you got the arena, elevated seating.
It's a nice place. They do it first class over there.
It's a beautiful place to go. So if you're a Commodore fan, come out and watch them play because they're letting fans in, and there's plenty of seating there. So, but Lady Commodores will open 8 p.m. Wednesday at Northwest Florida State College in the arena, and then the winner of that will play the Northwest or Eastern Florida at 3 p.m. on Friday, and championship game is at 5 p.m. on Saturday. So for Coach Cayla Petree, I'm James Baxley. Thanks for watching, Commodore fans, and we'll see you next time on the Commodore Sports Network.